Okie dokie. Here we go. This is through Noord. Welcome to this bike ride video. Let's ride. I don't know what people are calling these. I don't do these often enough to be a part of that culture. I just like doing it. This part, I came down here because we actually have some apartment idea prospects along this road. It's called IJsselmeerstraat. It's on the screen. And so you have, it's like freshly constructed, so the roads are really, your car. I wanted to get an actual physical look at the neighborhood. But this is the beginning of a little over 16-kilometer journey across the street. I'm gonna link in a card to a channel that's about not just bikes. The guy is an architect of some sort, so he has a lot more ideas. But for those keen viewers, I want you guys to notice on my route, aside from me stopping at electric stuff, how many stop signs there actually are in this country. He said on one of his videos that there's it took the Netherlands were given stop signs by the Nazis, and they were even sort of caution signs that were like, stop. So, yeah. Anyways, we're moving along here down through Noord. It's kind of on the eastern end of it. My Instagram post a couple last week or something showed you guys this. There was a garden neighborhood to the left there and new construction to the right. This is a small green space with dedicated bike area. And then got across this street. Lady didn't know where she was going. Now we're down onto an area and a road that one of my Dutchies told me to view, and I'd been down this before. It's called Nieuwendammerdijk. When I look at the words, I can pronounce them, but sometimes when I see them in my head, I don't very well. So for all of you, this is a very, very bumpy road. I thought it was far bumpier than it was because the bricks are laid out 90 degrees from each other in a hash pattern. So if you look down at the ground, you can kind of see that, it kind of makes you kind of go. It's not actually. There's just a lot of weird bumps, but that's the shifting sands underneath the roads. When you're actually on, like, if this were mounted on my chest, I probably wouldn't have had nearly as many bumpy areas. It gets better later in the video. But this part is suburban. This is, I don't know really the history of this area. I've really only been here once. When I went through Noord, and you guys watched the video where I kind of just left the end of it on a ferry, yeah, this is the route I took. I'll show you where I turned to that park to get down to the ferry, and I'm just going to continue on it. But I know for many Americans, they look and they're like, oh my God, look at these roads. They're so big. These buildings are so modern. Well, here's your skinny little road. Like, that's the skinny little roads, tiny little houses. But this is what I would think of as more retro modern. I don't know my art terms, but I call it retro modern because these are modern houses. They're built recently by European standards, but they still have that aesthetic that may not be, that tells you, like, they have that little steeple thing on the front that everyone's like, oh look, that's a Dutch building. But most of these on the side, on the right side at least, is what I think of when people are like, oh, the Netherlands. I'm gonna think of buildings like this. You'll see more later. Down in my area in Oost and Zuidoost, aside from giant skyscrapers, there's a lot of buildings that are just flat to the road, doors and windows. That's it. Everyone wants to look at those little buildings, right down there in the lower left. Everyone sees, oh wow, that's That's Amsterdam. That's not what Amsterdam is to me. This, you know, oh, we're getting up to a point. Needed to figure out where my maps was taking me. Yeah, crossing the street. Still no exact stop signs. Yeah. I had an issue with pedestrians coming up here, so finally restarted the camera. Runner not knowing where he's going, almost ran into me. So I got a little turned around. This is not the road I was supposed to be on coming up. I was supposed to go to Bouwsloterdijk, and I missed a turn right here. So I wound up going over this bridge and going over the next bridge. But this is Noord Park. This is like, I don't want to say the crowning achievement, but this is the centralized park of Noord District, Wijk, whatever. Noordwijk. I know that's not quite the term for it. It's just called Amsterdam Noord. So, but this is kind of this is Noord Park. And boom, I didn't notice the camera knock itself back. This isn't nearly as bad as a little bit later. You can still see some ground, but there's just, as you can see, this is definitively a park, and it's wide bike lane. I'm supposed to be, according to the route I planned, on the right side of the lake canal, not going on this route, so I was not paying attention to the camera. I was trying to figure out the pathway to get back over to where I was. Didn't want to get too terribly lost in an area I'd only been in 3 times before. Yep. Found my little pathway. Again, jump off a curb and kind of tilts back. And I realize what the camera's doing. Hello. And then I'm like, okay, this is the route I'm supposed to be on. Alright. So, again, that's the canal on the left, Slocha, I'm not really sure what the definition there is. I consider a canal to be somewhat flowing and a Slocha to be still water that, when in doubt, like, yeah, they're different. It's just like still water, but yeah. Some of my teammates say that, you know, I'm like, does this go out to the ocean? And they're like, everything goes out to the ocean. It's like, oh, right. That's, yeah. It leads somewhere. Just like, okay. But you see these houses on the right. Like, these are Dutch houses, is what I call them. Like, they're joined, but this is what people say when they get a house. They're not a house with a yard in the middle of everything. Oh, need to get another idea of where I was going. Nope. All right. There's like 5 minutes that actually spanned in between there. And since I don't know the roads and the street signs are not very visible here, I wound up taking a significantly long detour. But for showing off Noord, this is a really good idea. And switching up to 4 times speed, because who needs to sit here for so many seconds? This happens later. The clip at 4x speed is 12 seconds long, so it's a 48-second light. To be fair, that's okay for the intersection, but yeah. I was supposed to take a right at the other side of the street, and I didn't. And Google kept doo-doo. And then turn right on such and such. What road? What road? Oh, that road. All right. Dong-dong. Yeah. I wound up just like taking a road at a certain point and letting Google figure it out. But as you can see, more of this Amsterdam house. They're row houses, I guess, but this is what I see of when it comes to Amsterdam. This is, you know, but the green spaces in between everything. I've looked at bike videos from even Portland just to see, you know, how people tour it there, and it's weirdly not as green as it is here. And a couple bike things from the best bike city, Copenhagen or something, there's nothing. There's no green space. It looks like a paved city with, yeah. And I know my sister-in-law is probably looking at this, and I can tell her that, yes, that is a one-lane road with a raised curb to the bike lane. I realized that this was a really long route that's kind of boring to look at other than wonderful plants on the side. I'm actually going super fast. I'm in like 6th gear trying to just plow through everything. Yeah, where I was supposed to turn would have brought me out up at the light when I stop up here. So you can see how much of a detour I was made. And now we're going along a very, like, we're starting to get to the area that looks like it's under super amounts of construction. I'm fully aware that the screen I'm looking at this on is significantly smaller than what most people will be viewing it, as I have a whole editing bar beneath it. But the new construction for like Zeeburger Island and Eiberg is stuff that looks like it's on the left. Like they're making distinct columns of houses, and it's kind of nice. It's kind of cute. But the bike lanes still are nice and wide. That's just how it is. Like there's a significant barrier in between the road and there's all that grass right there. And there's curbs and stuff. Again, no stop signs. I've stopped because of lights, not because of stop signs. And you'll see later when I get back, because the camera actually maintained its charge all the way home. This is a significant canal. If I was smart, I'd have stopped and looked up and down the canal. I've done my research. I did my research when I uploaded the video. I don't know what building that is. I don't know what it is. It's like a silver hot dog. This is a extension of the Science Museum, so it might have something to do with it, but I'm not completely sure. And so, it's a weird looking building. There's also a weird building up front that's kind of, I want to say like a half cone. Trying to make the light here. Yes, I did cut a couple corners. And now I realize that I'm heading over to the ferry that is near NDSM, which is a Nationale Dok en Scheepbouwmaatschappij. I'll get that word eventually. It's the National Dock and Shipbuilding Company, Maatschappij. It's this area. There's a lot of ships for World War II built here. Yeah. So, again, I was jumping up and down curbs, so the camera gets all knocked back. If you can see, that does say Sexy Land. Not been inside, don't really have it yet. Fell off a significant curb. Now we're looking at this guy. I'm going to shut up here and leave the original audio on so you can hear. Oh, I just got onto the ferry. Now this is put up at 300 times, but there's not a lot of difference in view. This should tell you that, like I said, you're looking at this at 3 times normal speed. This, I think, I mean, it's not like there's another one really close to it, but I believe this is the longest ferry ride in Amsterdam across Hedai. And there's just a lot of people. 1,5 meter afstand. Except for the 2 friends in front of us, but you can't expect everyone to follow every rule all the time. But individual parties are apart from each other. I forgot until I saw this footage how low the actual camera is in comparison to my eyes, but hopefully if you guys come and visit, you can take this and like stand near a window or something and watch all of the stuff go by. And sometimes you'll have like shipping boats go by you and you get to like wade and more people will be out on actual like boats, perhaps fishing or just enjoying the sun. There was one, but nobody actually was there. But yeah, like I was just dinking around playing Train Station, not really doing much of anything. I know some of the older viewers on my channel here would be like, oh, yeah. As you can see, it's not really rocking back and forth. These ferries are super stable. Got cool architecture on the right coming by. We're actually gonna hit a shadow. One of those buildings because the sun is actually pretty low in this. There we are. And if you can see, there's like a little line, and yeah, that's Central Station coming up. This goes all the way from the west, kind of the west side of Noord, down Het I to Amsterdam Centraal. So you could take this going back the other direction if you come into Centraal. So you don't need to go through this whole path that I did. To take this, you could go back the other direction. And the ferries are free. I'm just telling you that. The ferries are free. Nobody has ever checked me for anything. These are completely odd. Like, you could come in to Centraal, get off your train, beep out, walk over to a ferry, and just hop on it. Yeah, the ferry did pretty much a 90-degree turn. Just letting you all know. It was actually cool. So I'm showing you guys this because a couple days ago, my idea, I wanted to show you the ride down the bike lane behind Amsterdam Centraal. And I figured this was the best time as any to get it done. Just navigate a whole bunch of people. No designated bike lane, so folks, yeah. Here we are. It's got a little bit of traffic calming. These white lines are actually small bumps, and then every crosswalk is actually raised a little bit, and that lets you know that you are not the one that has right of way. Boom, 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 up, down, boom, 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 boom. It's, yeah. There's a tram, 26. Now we're going along. Het I is on the left. Regular Amsterdam is on the right. Centrum is actually on the right. And this is not quite a bike freeway, bike highway, as people might want to call it. But yeah, I zipped forward because I was like, nah, I'm not going to record anymore. And then I realized, oh my God, I have a lot of footage actually, or a lot more battery. Fix the camera. We're a little higher speed right now because there's not much to see. This is the docklands and stuff. But I realized, I'm going to turn this, because I was out exploring the other day, and I saw where this road led out. Because I've been kept straight ahead many, many, many times before. And so, yeah, our intercities, as you can see up there on the bridge, our intercities are still running. Yeah. I am kind of taking a little bit more liberties with my bike on lights I'll roll through. But if I have to, but there are sometimes where I still just stop. So we're back in Oost, and I figured the last time I ran through this, or I rode through this area, my camera was dying and I don't remember where it stopped. Yeah. Welcome to the shaking back and forth. I shifted all the way up to 7th gear, stood up on my pedals, and was just going as fast as I could. Not really, like this is not, but still, more trees. The bike lane for so long is just dedicated, and from what people tell me, it's red. I just don't see it. And so, yeah. Here we're coming up on the ridiculously long light, and as you can see, someone just crossed it, so I just missed it. You can see traffic just flies. Yeah. All right. So the zoo is near here, and that's really cool. But this is a really long, again, with the separated bike lanes. You got cars on one side, parking, bike lane, 2 lanes, wide sidewalk, buildings. I know some people have said, wow, those look like really modern buildings. And to be fair, I don't really know what you guys kind of mean. I mean, I understand that there's like the really old classic look of Amsterdam buildings, but like, it makes me wonder how many Americans are expecting to see the brochure picture and that everywhere looks like that. And it doesn't, as this is a living city, like every other city should be. There's still a lot of construction. There's a lot of people out for a Friday afternoon. And so, yep, as you guys can see, the Hoyer decorative windmill, I've never actually seen it on, like unlocked to spin. So, yeah. We're heading by a little area. We're getting close to where I live. Fortuitous, the long light before, and this one, bing, immediately changes. I'm like, nice. Burritos Anonymous is on the right. It's considered a religious organization to hot sauce. You guys are in the area. And then heading down the canal. This is Single Canal. This is, again, you've got the individual buildings which have apartments. On the left, you can see a lot more just flat apartment buildings. There's some of them, like that one, has the angled lines that don't really do what windows do. It's art. This is one of the most annoying thing that happened to me on this thing. I damn near locked up my back tire because she pulled out in front of me. I wasn't even going that fast, but I got a little ragey. I didn't yell at her, but she just really pulled right out in front of me and was not going fast at all. Like, she wasn't even attempting to go fast, and yeah. Anyways, a little bit of rage there. So now we're heading down. De Beer Town is on the left, and the cathedral that we hear all the bells every hour is right there on the left. Oster Park is on the right. And we're heading down towards where Aaron gets on the bus stop for the 37. At Linnaeus. This is currently Linnaeusstraat. And Linnaeusstraat. Slutelklaus. It's a key maker. And for those that study way more German, the term in German would be Schlüssel, not Slutel. Because the Dutch decided we weren't going to make complicated stuff with an etze. And that's that. So now we're heading down. The apotheek's on the left. The manors on the left. Like, we're back into my neighborhood. Like, we're less than a kilometer from my apartment. As you guys can see, the library. You guys have watched multiple videos. There's the train bridge. Here's Rook and Pluk and all that stuff. But again, barely any stop signs. None that I've seen this entire time. And separated bike lanes. And now we're back on Pretoriastraat. There's a butcher on the right. And now we're pulling in against the sun, and zoom.